Good evening. Calling to order for the final time, the meeting of the Town of Pittsburgh Board of Commissioners this Monday, December the 11th, 2023. Please join me for a moment of silence. Amen. Thank you. As a special part of this evening's meeting, we're going to ask Commissioner Farrell if he will lead us in the pledge. And he's going to have a special helper with him this evening, Shipp.
Would everyone rise for the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You have the agenda before you. I'll take a motion for either approval of the agenda as it is or amendment or modification to the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as is.
Motion by Commissioner Farrell,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Vose. Those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the motion carries unanimously. Now is the time for the organizational aspect of the meeting and the installation of mayor and commissioners.
Please repeat after me. I, Kyle Stephen Shipp,
I, Kyle Stephen Shipp,
do solemnly and sincerely swear
do solemnly and sincerely swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and laws of the United States,
and laws of the United States,
that I will be faithful
that I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance
and bear true allegiance
to the state of North Carolina
to the state of North Carolina
and to the constitutional powers
and to the constitutional powers
and authorities which are
or
may be established
may be established
for the government thereof,
for the government thereof,
that I will endeavor to support,
that I will endeavor to support,
maintain, and defend
maintain, and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of said state,
of said state,
not inconsistent
not inconsistent
with the Constitution
with the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
as mayor.
as mayor.
So help me God.
So help me God.
You're next. Do you want to wait?
If others don't mind.
We can do that. Okay, we'll just pass on you. We'll do you at the end.
Yeah, thank you.
Jay Farrell, you're next. Raise your right hand. Another time. I, Jay Farrell,
I, Jay Farrell,
do solemnly and sincerely swear
do solemnly and sincerely swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and laws of the United States,
and laws of the United States,
that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
to the state of North Carolina
to the state of North Carolina
and to the constitutional powers
and to the constitutional powers
and authorities which are
and to the authorities which are
or may be established
or may be established
for the government thereof.
for the government thereof.
That I will endeavor to support,
I will endeavor to support,
maintain and defend
maintain and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and laws of said state,
and laws of the said state,
not inconsistent
not inconsistent
with the Constitution
with the Constitution
of the United
of
States,
the United States,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
as Commissioner,
as Commissioner.
so help me God.
So help me God. Thank you. Thank you.
And then we'll bring the hands. Follow after me. I, John Foley Jr.,
I, John Foley Jr.,
do solemnly and sincerely swear
do solemnly and sincerely swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and laws of the United States,
and laws of the United States,
that I will be faithful
that I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance
and bear true allegiance
to the state of North Carolina
to the state of North Carolina
and to the constitutional powers
and to the constitutional powers
and authorities which are
and authorities which are
or may be established
or may be established
for the government thereof,
for the government thereof,
that I will endeavor to support,
that I will endeavor to support,
maintain and defend
maintain, and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of said
of
state,
said state,
not inconsistent
not inconsistent
with the Constitution
with the Constitution
of the United
of the
States,
United States,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
to the best of my knowledge and ability.
and that I will faithfully discharge
And I will faithfully discharge
the duties of my
the
office
duties of my office
as Commissioner.
as Commissioner.
So help me
So
God.
help me God.
Congratulations. Raise your right. Left on the Bible. Are you good?
Yes.
If you need help, I'll watch. Okay. Please repeat after me. I, John Bonitz,
I, John Bonitz,
do solemnly and sincerely swear
do solemnly and sincerely swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and laws of the United States,
and laws of the United States,
that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
to the state of North Carolina
to the state of North Carolina
and to the constitutional powers
and to the constitutional powers
and authorities which are
And authorities which are
or may be established
or may be established
for the government thereof,
for the government thereof,
that I will endeavor to support,
that I will endeavor to support,
maintain and defend
maintain, and defend
the Constitution and laws of said state,
the Constitution and laws of said state,
not inconsistent
not inconsistent
with the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
best of my knowledge and ability,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
as Commissioner.
as Commissioner.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Awesome.
That's me.
He thinks of everything.
Thank you, Gary. Next on our agenda is the election of the mayor pro tem. I will accept nominations for the mayor pro tem.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to nominate Pamela Baldwin for 10 for the term.
Thank you. Second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Would you please join me? I, Pamela Baldwin,
I, Pamela Baldwin,
do solemnly and sincerely swear
do solemnly and sincerely swear
that I will support the Constitution and laws
that I will support the Constitution and laws
of the United States,
of the United States,
that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
to the state of North Carolina
to the state of North Carolina
and to the constitutional powers
and to the constitutional powers
and authorities which are
or
may be established for the government thereof.
for the government thereof.
And I will endeavor to support,
And I will endeavor to support,
maintain, and defend
maintain, and defend
the Constitution and laws of the state,
the Constitution and laws of the state,
not inconsistent with the constitutions of the United States,
not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties as my office
the duties of my office
as Mayor Pro Tem.
as Mayor Pro Tem.
So help me God.
So help me God.
We have a resolution in appreciation and acknowledgement of service to the town of Pittsburgh. Whereas Cindy S. Perry has served the town of Pittsburgh with distinguished and outstanding service from December 14, 2015 to December 9, 2019, and again from December 13, 2021, December 11, 2023 as mayor. And whereas as mayor, she has put forth substantial effort towards improving quality of life for the citizens of the town of Pittsburgh. And whereas Mayor Perry has selflessly dedicated countless hours, embraced personal sacrifices, and showcased remarkable community service in her role, all while maintaining a collaborative and approachable manner that makes engaging with her a genuinely enjoyable experience. And whereas Mayor Perry has put a priority on the interests of Pittsburgh and demonstrated a profound dedication to the town's welfare. And whereas her steadfast dedication, coupled with an eagerness and aptitude to empathize with and address the needs of Pittsburgh citizens, has significantly contributed to the community's development, enriching the lives of those she serves, and setting a commendable example for future leaders. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners of the town of Pittsburgh, North Carolina, that Cindy S. Perry is hereby officially commended on behalf of the citizens of Pittsburgh for valuable service rendered to the town in her official capacity as mayor, for her professionalism, dedication, unwavering commitment, and empathetic approach to addressing the current concerns of the people of Pittsburgh. Be it further resolved that this resolution be made part of the permanent records of the town of Pittsburgh, and that a copy of this resolution be presented to Cindy S. Perry. We'll make it efficient. I'll take a motion to approve the resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody. I want to thank everybody. This community has been absolutely amazing community and for me to feel the support that I have felt over the last 3 terms. It's just been a real dream come true. And the staff of the town of Pittsburgh is professional and has been so helpful through the years. It's made my job tremendously easier. And then finally, to you elected officials, I have great confidence that you all will continue to do great things. I have enjoyed what I've done, but it is time to take a new look at fresh leadership. And I thank you for all of the wonderful memories and all the wonderful opportunities. And I look forward to a very happy retirement.
Now we have a resolution recognizing the graduates of the fall 2023 PBO 101 Citizens Academy. Whereas the PBO 101 Citizens Academy is a unique civic engagement program established by the town of Pittsburgh, offering residents the opportunity to gain a comprehensive understanding of the functioning of their local government across numerous departments, including administration and finance, police, planning and downtown, parks and recreation, engineering, utilities, public works, emergency management and preparedness, public information, and the governing board. And whereas the participants of PBO 101 Citizens Academy have committed more than 21 hours over 7 weeks, attending over 75% of classes to deepen their knowledge and skills in civic matters, demonstrating their commitment to enhancing the community. Whereas their active involvement in this intensive program is a testament to their determination to understand the intricate workings of their town, their desire to contribute meaningfully to the town's governance, and their dedication to fostering a vibrant, engaged community. And whereas the graduates of the PBO 101 Citizens Academy have shown a commendable level of civic participation, demonstrating a deep commitment to their community and the democratic process. And whereas the success of the PBO 101 Citizens Academy was enabled by the tireless efforts and dedication of town staff who generously gave their evenings to teach such sections of this program, and the Joe Wagner Post 7313 of the Veterans of Foreign Wars who donated the use of their facility for a class session. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the board hereby recognizes and commends the PBO 101 Citizens Academy graduates for their dedication and commitment to civic engagement. Their dedication serves as a model for all citizens. Their efforts contribute significantly to the vitality and health of our democracy. The board acknowledges the substantial time, effort, and diligence the participants have committed to the PBO 101 Citizens Academy, applauding their dedication and hard work in completing the program. The board expresses its deepest gratitude to the town staff and the membership of the Joe Wagner Post 7313 of the Veterans of Foreign Wars for their invaluable contribution to the success of the Pittsboro 101 Citizens Academy. The board hereby lists and honors the names of the individuals who have completed the PBO 101 Citizens Academy. Regina Barcelo, Ryan Brunetti, Michael Close, Douglas Emmons, Brian Finnegan, Corey Forrest, Robert Popchek, Josh Aaron Rudy, Mary Stokes, and Elizabeth Thomas. This resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after its adoption. I'll ask for a motion to approve the resolution.
So moved.
Second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those of y'all that are here, when we come up, we'll give you a certificate, you'll be able to shake some hands. Just make sure you come around this side of the camera. We have a lot of cords right here, and we don't want anyone to get tripped up. Gina Barcelo. Ryan Brunetti. Michael Close. Doug Emmons. Brian Finnegan. Corey Forrest. Robert Popchak. Josh Rudy. Mary Stokes. Elizabeth Thomas.
Thank you all. Mr. Messick, keep going. We have a resolution honoring Paul S. Messick Jr.'s 50 years of service as a town attorney for the town of Pittsboro, North Carolina. Whereas Paul S. Messick graduated from Duke University and the School of Law at the University of North Carolina and has been a practicing attorney at Gunn & Messick LLP since 1971. And whereas Paul S. Messick Jr. was appointed as town attorney for the town of Pittsboro by its Board of Commissioners on Monday, December 3rd, 1973, following the departure of town attorney Gunn. And whereas Paul S. Messick Jr. has served as the town attorney continuously for more than 50 years. And whereas the success of the town of Pittsboro, the Board of Commissioners of the town of Pittsboro, and the town staff can be attributed in no small part to the professionalism, institutional and legal knowledge, and dedication of Attorney Messick. And whereas the Board of Commissioners of the town of Pittsboro wishes to congratulate Attorney Messick on this achievement and thank him for more than 5 decades of service. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the board acknowledges the substantial time, effort, and diligence of Paul S. Messick Jr. in his handling of the town's legal matters. The board hereby recognizes and commends Paul S. Messick Jr. for his exceptional service to the town and its residents, business owners, visitors, and the surrounding community. This resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after its adoption. For a motion to approve. Second. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, next up is citizens matters. And first is manager updates.
Thank you, Mayor. I greatly appreciate it. I don't really have an update tonight, but I'll just say, Cindy, thank you for all that you've done for the town of Pittsburgh. Second, thanks for helping hire me. I greatly appreciate that. To this board and to those that have just been either elected or reelected, congratulations. And I look very much forward to working with you over the next couple of years to solve the town's problems and see your vision come to reality. So thanks for having me. I greatly appreciate it. And again, congratulations. And Mayor, looking forward to all those emails and moving forward with your vision for Pittsburgh and everything that you want to accomplish. So I'd like to be here. Yes, sir.
The email shall continue.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
For my updates, had a lot of events since our last meeting, since it was about a month ago, and it's busy time. We had the PBO 101 graduation dinner. We had PBO homecoming in the pop-up park downtown. The tree lighting, of course, a fantastic event, and I think the best turnout that we've ever had for that. Ribbon cutting at Haw River Animal Hospital. There was an EDC industry breakfast, which was some really good information for everyone in Chatham. And I was also able to take a facilitation skills for successful meetings course at USC School of Government. So you all get to grade me tonight, I guess. For AHAC, we had our last meeting on December 7th, Affordable Housing Advisory Committee, and we made a funding recommendation to the county board of $300,000 for affordable housing. And for the Economic Development Corporation, our last meeting was November 15th. And a lot of discussion, a lot of interest in Chatham still. And the county capital improvement plan is out now, and that will be a significant help to those efforts. Next, Mayor Pro Tem Baldwin.
Thank you very much, Mayor Shipp. I actually don't have anything to report tonight, other than of course, I'm still with the Central Pines Regional Council and look forward to the upcoming meeting, which will be until January.
Thank you. Commissioner Bonitz.
Yeah, and I have no routine updates either.
Thank you. Commissioner Farrell.
PBA meeting was postponed due to Christmas. No meetings this month. I attended the tree lighting, like you said, it was one of our largest, I believe the largest crowd we've had. And that was very successful. Just like to thank Mayor Perry for all her time and appreciate everything she did for the town. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Foley.
This is the first update for me. First off, I'd like to thank the voters of Pittsburgh for electing both myself, Mr. Bonitz, and Mr. Farrell. This election was hard fought, and I'm happy to be here, very pleased to be here. I'm glad that my commissioner to my right, my fellow commissioner, Mr. Farrell, I like to call him the heart of Pittsburgh, is here next to me. And I also would like to honor Mr. Bonitz, who is a fierce fighter for the environment. And I'm also happy to be elected with you as well. The time of elections, I learned a great deal about Pittsburgh from the voters themselves. And there were three compelling issues that they came up with while I was listening to them. One was the water from Haw River. One was how are we going to control growth? And the third would be affordable housing. So those are three issues that will be on top of my agenda. Water, growth, and affordable housing. We have compelling stresses coming our way. It's compelling growth from VinFast, from Wolfspeed, and now from a wonderful company, Disney, that will be developing through Chatham Park. And we welcome working with them, and we welcome making sure that Pittsburgh grows in the correct way. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Commissioner Vose? Other than lots of thanks and congratulations, I don't have anything to add tonight. Thank you. Up next is public comment. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. You will see a timer on the screen. Each speaker should state their name and address at the beginning of their comments. Speakers should sign up with the town clerk before the start of the meeting. While the board is interested in hearing your comments and concerns, speakers should not expect any board action or deliberation on the remarks made. Please direct your comments to the board as a whole. Comments or concerns requiring further investigation will be referred to the appropriate town official. We thank you for being considerate of the town board, staff, and other speakers. First up is Maria Parker Lewis and then Ron Hatton.
Maria Parker Lewis, 78 Rose Lane, Pittsburgh. First, I'd like to say congratulations to those newly elected and re-elected, Commissioner Bonitz, Mayor Baldwin, Mayor Shipp, Commissioner Foley, Commissioner Farrell, and Commissioner Vose. Thank you for your continued service. Cindy, many years of dedication to Pittsburgh, and the citizenry certainly appreciates it. And Mr. Messick, 50 years does not seem possible. I'm wondering, maybe you were a child prodigy, I don't know. Wow, wonderful, thank you. And thank you all for letting me speak tonight. I'm here simply to say thank you. I appreciate the support that you all have given to Delta Pittsburgh, specifically with the events. As a community member, I know how important events are to create a sense of place, create an opportunity to connect and feel like we are a community. As a business member, I appreciate the exposure that it gives to our businesses. And then as a PBA member and the chair of the events committee, I heard you mention the tree lighting. This is our 9th year, and yes, I think it was our biggest year. It could not have happened without your support. And I need to give a couple shout outs to Teresa Thompson for her help with the marketing and keeping our business community informed. Officer Redburn, I can't even imagine what you must go through to make sure our town is safe and this all goes smoothly. And then lastly, Mark Wright and his team. They must have the patience of the saints. They're very particular about our tree. As you know, we've had multiple problems, but they were on top of it and they were there with professionalism and a really good attitude. And so simply, that's what I want to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Ron, what's next?
My name is Ron Hatley. I live at 24 Roy Hatley Road, 27312. And the gentle young lady stole everything that I was going to say. I would like to thank Commissioner Farrell and Commissioner Bonitz for their continued effort for the town, for the county, for the people and the businesses in our area. It's difficult to find individuals that are trustworthy, that are able to endure the slings and the arrows of politics. We thank you. Mr. Foley, now Commissioner Foley, congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm sure that all of you will do an excellent job in the coming future. I also would like to again pick on Ms. Perry, who is now, let's see, I think her title is the Honorable Mayor Perry, now that you are retired, quote unquote. We thank you for all that you have done, and I'm sure that all you will do in the future. You are a gentle lady. And last and not least, new Mayor Shipp. Oh, sir, now you have a four-term term. It's a new beginning of a new beginning. And you have some large high heels, Bill. Thank you for all you do.
Thanks. Andy Boulder, followed by Sharon Hill.
This is my second swearing in ceremony in a week. I was texting Pam from Cary last week because we went to support the first Indian American ever elected to city council in Cary. And the way things are going, that may happen in Pittsburgh in the next 15, 20 years, who knows? But Pam and I ran together 18 years ago, and hats off to you, Pam. I can't believe you're still here, and you may still be here until the whole town cracks in. But she's done an amazing job. Guys, you've got so much opportunity ahead of you, and I'm so proud of where Pittsburgh has come from when we started, Pam, at that meeting in 2005 to see we are here today. I did my 8 years. As we found out, Cindy did her 6. That's 14 of the last 18. We just need Jim and Bill Terry in the room, and we got the last 18. So Kyle, the gavel's on to you, brother, to take this amazing town forward. And what is interesting, I went back and gave a speech tonight, Toastmasters, which you're welcome to all come. Teresa comes to some of the meetings. Raise your hand here if you're with Toastmasters, or here to support John Foley, who came out here, friends. These are just all folks that play cards with John or do Toastmasters thing. They're here to support John and make sure that John knows that he has a community of people that want to see you put into action what we work to elect you to do. And I know you want to do that.
Amen, Red.
And what's really funny is I went back and looked at our stuff, Pam, from 18 years ago. And wouldn't you know, a lot of it is the same. Parks and recreation, downtown viability, growing from the inside out, land growth, open government. I think the battle still continues, and I know we're in good hands. And I really appreciate you guys stepping forward again. Kyle, I think you got 2 years this time. He said 4. I thought he gave you an extra 2. That'd be nice. You can't run without an opponent and get the extra 2. It just doesn't work. But it's exciting what you put together, and I think you got a lot of people in the room that want to help. Although probably they're going to get up and leave after the citizens matters and let you get onto the business. And I think it's going to be exciting what's happening in this town. And I really feel good about where Pittsburgh is going and in the hands that it's in. So for you guys, there's a lot of concern that everyone has, and we know what those concerns are. It's not if we grow, but how we grow. But I'm pretty sure by following these meetings and coming to them and with the staff you've hired and the staff you're going to hire, that you're going to get that right. So thank you and Godspeed for 2024.
Thank you.
Sharon Hill.
I'm Sharon Hill, 301 Lawrence Way, Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Congratulations to Mr. Mayor and Mayor Pro Tem and all incoming commissioners, especially Mr. John Foley, who is a member of Pittsburgh Toastmasters. We Toastmasters invite you to visit Pittsburgh Toastmasters every Monday to see John in action and to learn how all of you can overcome your fear of public speaking. We know who you are. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon.
Okay. All right. Next up, the consent agenda. I'll ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So,
Thank you. Second? Second. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you. We have no public hearings this evening. Going to miscellaneous. Number 1 is a report to the board from the ABC for the period ending October 31, 2023. Jamie?
Hello. My name's Jamie Fiocco. I'm the incoming chair of the Pittsburgh ABC board. We have with us Hugh Harrington, who is the outgoing chair. And I wanted to not only congratulate the new members of our town governance, Mayor Shipp, but also the people who left. And I want to apologize to all of the families of the newly inducted and current town board members, because it's a lot of work, and I appreciate the sacrifice that everyone makes. So thank you for your service, everyone. So a report to the board, from the board, the ABC board. You've been supplied some documents. Mostly I'm here to just point things out to you and to answer any questions that you might have. I'll just say, looking at the town board update, it was a Word document. A quick recap is that I would hope that your main takeaway is that although the ABC board, as we mentioned 18 months ago, we've invested significantly in our staff and in our operations, and we needed to be in a place where we could move to, address any future opportunities. And we feel like we've accomplished that. And so not only have we invested in our staff and operations, but we have also at the same time have increased our distribution to the town. We distributed to the town in the last fiscal year, $136,000, 887. And since our last update in October, we've distributed another $16,636. That was we distribute quarterly, and then there's a final, usually a fifth distribution at the end of the fiscal year. We continue to outperform our other ABC systems in the area, including Chatham County, and we consistently rank top 10 statewide, often in the top 3 or 5, for store revenue increase by percentage. Are there any questions about the materials that we have provided, both the narrative update and the balance sheet, as well as the income statement?
I have a question.
Sure.
So there's a 24% increase from
Yes.
last year, year over year. Can you explain that?
Point out which part of the report, because there are a lot of numbers here, and I want to make sure I'm addressing the proper.
Total revenue.
On the narrative?
On the over.
Oh, the total revenue. Okay. So that's comparing the first 4 months of last fiscal year with the first 4 months of this fiscal year. The increase, we would say, it's primarily been mixed beverage. So we have 2 different types of income. We have both retail, which is the walk-in customers buying, a bottle of liquor, or what we call MXB or mixed beverage. And those are our permittees, people who are entities that have a ABC permit, and they are required to purchase from the store in Pittsburgh. Most of our growth has been in that area. We did lose a significant customer in September, but we hope that building is, comes back with someone who owns a permit. So, and there's hope for other businesses to come up. So there's hope for growth as the town can expand capacity for businesses that serve food and drink. Our revenue for you would grow as well. I do want to point out that we've had our general manager, Scott Cox, with us a year this October. We feel like he's done a great job. He came to us from Orange County with many years working as an assistant GM, and he knows the system, and he's really tightened up our operations. And I encourage you to come to the store to look, to ask for a tour, because we've got everything. It's nice and clean, and we have lots of opportunities for growth in the store. So again, please don't hesitate. You have our contact info, and if you don't, I'll send it out after this meeting. We really want to have a conversation. Our job is to make money for the town. That is our job, and we want to have a conversation and consider you partners, as you would consider us partners, I hope.
Do we have any local distributors being sold or selling their wares at the
We do have I believe it's mandated, a North Carolina section. It's something that we would want to do anyway, but the ABC board doesn't have a lot of leeway. A lot of what we do is mandated by the state. If not all, it's either by statute or by rule. But we do have a local section, and we do try to sell as much local product as we can. But again, it's controlled by the state.
Understood.
Okay. Anything else? All right.
I think also the agency board is looking for the town board to be designated as a liaison. I know Commissioner Vose has expressed interest in that, but at this time, I'll accept a recommendation. Commissioner as liaison to the agency board.
Make a motion for Commissioner Vose be designated as the liaison.
I second.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. That's wonderful.
Aye.
Jumped the gun, but welcome. And we don't drink at meetings, sorry. So if you have no other questions, no?
Thanks.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Jamie.
Up next, under old business, the presentation from Central Pines Regional Council on its strategic plan.
Just making sure. Good evening, Mayor. Congratulations. Commissioners, it's nice to be with you all this evening. Just give me a moment so that the slides are up. I know you all should have them in front of you. So for those of you who have not had the chance to meet before, my name is Elena Keegan. I'm the Local Government Services Director at Central Pines, which is your regional council for Chatham County. And I have the pleasure tonight to present to you the final draft of the strategic plan for the town, which we've had the pleasure of facilitating over the past 6 months with your staff. I'm going to cover 3 items tonight. First, I'm going to just do a quick review of the purpose of the strategic plan. I know some of you have not had the chance to be involved in this process. You have an understanding of where we were headed. Then I'll talk about the process, and then I will review the different items that are within the actual draft of the plan. So this plan is specifically focused on operational direction for the town. And I think that's a really important distinction. It is not meant to take away from any of the great work that has happened on the various other plans and planning processes that have gone on in the past several years. The new master plan, the update to the land use plan, there's a lot of other work that has happened. This is specifically focused on operational direction for the next 3 years. And so what that's going to do is it's really focused on prioritizing the town's staff, the town's resources, and the town's funding to make sure that over the next 3 years, work is being efficient and effective and really directed in where you're headed. And so the plan has 4 different pieces to it. This process has 4 different pieces to it to help guide the direction of the town. First, it has an organization, mission, and vision. So that's what you do and where you're headed, what you hope to achieve. It has 6 goals that are realistic and measurable so that along the way of these 3 years, you can see if you're making progress. There's 5 core values. So those are specific to the culture of your organization and the culture that you want your staff and yourselves as board members to adhere to. And then there will be an action plan, which is really a tool for your staff to help them implement and be able to provide updates to you about the plan. So those are the 4 things that you'll see as we go through this item, go down. So this has been, there's 6 sort of key steps to this process. We are in number 4 on this slide, if you're looking along with me. So we have been working with your staff since the summer. We did a very large current state analysis, looking at all of the plans and projects that you have underway, as well as shadowing all of your staff, key staff, leadership, and folks that really don't have another person on staff that is doing the same work as them, to get a sense of sort of what the current state looks like, what's being asked of your staff, where are new challenges arising. We also had a staff and board retreat, which many of you would have had the chance to be at the board retreat, which is where we started talking about desired outcomes. What does the town look like in the next 3 years? What do you hope it looks like in the next 3 years to drive the plan? And then our team, working collaboratively with staff, developed the draft plan that I'm going to present to you this evening. And that this will be a chance for you to provide feedback and refine before considering and adopting. And then there's 2 other steps here that will actually come after adoption of the plan, which might seem sort of odd in the planning process. But first will be the action plan, which I mentioned, which is really a tool for your staff that's going to be diving into the strategies and the action items that they need to take to meet those goals, as well as KPIs that they'll be using to provide updates to you on the goals. And then implementation will just be ongoing for the 3 years of the plan so that they can provide you with updates. It's important to note that the slide mentions an annual assessment. Some of the strategies in this plan, you hope, will actually be completed within the 3 years, right? And so those will actually roll off the plan theoretically, and there may be new strategies that emerge to continue to meet the goals. So it's important to kind of update it throughout those 3 years. You can go to the next slide. Just as a reminder, because I know at least Commissioner Foley was not able to be at the board retreat, that was really a chance to talk about desired outcome for the town. We talked about some initial information, but everything here is really built off of both what the staff said and the board retreat. So it'll look a little bit different, but hopefully it's not anything that is surprising. It should be reflective of what we talked about at the board retreat. You can go to the next slide. Also just wanted to mention, as we were drafting the plan, it was very iterative. What's really important, you'll see in the strategies within each of these goals, these need to reflect what your staff see as the most important work in the next 3 years, right? So this is a plan for 3 years. And so there was a lot of back and forth with your staff who are very committed to doing great work, right? And so this is very much a reflection of their passion for the type of work that they're doing. So I just wanted to say that it was really great to work with your staff through that process. You can go down. So this is what the plan actually looks like. You don't have that in front of you yet. You'll have it once it's a final version. It is an actual plan. But what I'm going to do now, I'll pause for a second if there's any questions, and then I'm going to walk through each of the sections of the plan itself. And I can take any questions as we go. Anything before I move into that section? Okay, so we can keep going. So first is the mission statement. And the mission statement is what you do. It's your purpose as an organization. The town of Pittsboro provides efficient services and spaces to create memorable experiences for our growing community and each other through collaboration, communication, and care. Now you can scroll down to the vision. So the vision is where you're headed. It's what you hope to see in the next 3 years or several years. Pittsboro is a safe, resilient, community-centered town that prioritizes diversity and inclusivity, tradition, and environmental sustainability. And then core values. So as I mentioned, core values, just they're about your culture. It's what you expect your organization to reflect. It might be different than other organizations. And your core values, we value service to our community through collaboration, innovation, sustainability, transparency, and equality. And then finally, goals. You have 6 goals. Organizational excellence, community infrastructure and connectivity, quality of place, robust facilities and equipment, livable community, and financial sustainability. And I'll pause for just another second before I jump in. Each goal has a definition of the goal so that everyone sort of understands the meaning behind the goal. And then a set of strategies, which, as I mentioned, will change over the 3 years, but to start are the ones identified by your town or by your staff. Anything before I jump into that? Okay. Keep going. So organizational excellence. This goal is focused on developing, recruiting, and retaining employees through a healthy and supportive work environment. I'm not going to read all the strategies, but I'll give you a few minutes to look at the 5 that are up here for this goal.
Just two comments.
Yes.
On the one about the utility merger, I think it's important to say merger after the utility merger because it's a lot of work from now until the date that it's finalized.
Yes.
And I think that's okay.
Okay. And I know we had one other, I'm not sure who we got it from, but the leave the region and pay and benefits, we're probably going to adjust slightly. There was a comment about that being maybe hard to achieve in 3 years to be the top payer. So we're just going to tweak it slightly in terms of language to make it a bit more flexible, but it's related to being a competitive employer. We can share that language if helpful, but
I can.
I want to read what we had.
lead the region as a competitive employer by offering the flexibility and benefits that meet employee needs. It's about the same, but it's a little softer.
Still a strong commitment to employees.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't want to take that away, just maybe so you're not the, yeah. Any other comments on these strategies before we go to the next? Or goal? Okay, we can go to the next one. So this is community infrastructure and connectivity, and this goal is focused on providing and maintaining the necessary infrastructure to promote mobility and keep people connected. And there are 5 strategies under here as well.
I think the only thing I had here was the second one where it says ensure equitable investment across the entire community to parks and open space. Seems like it should be in open space, but I don't know English well.
Four parks and open space.
It's mine.
Okay.
Yeah, we can make, no, our points are fine.
4 is the consensus.
Okay.
Perfect.
Any other comments on this? Okay. Move to the next one. So quality of space. This goal is focused on creating spaces that celebrate our history and embrace our future, and includes 5 strategies as well. I know you had a comment on one of these.
My comment on the 4th one is about the One Pittsboro brand. And I think my strongest hope about Pittsboro is that we'll be One Pittsboro. But I think the One Pittsboro brand language, we might want to pick another brand in the future. So I think if we said something like create a cohesive One Pittsboro identity across town, and then maybe part of the action plan is to develop a brand or another strategy.
Yep.
But that identity is critical, I think.
Yeah. Okay, we can change that.
Yeah, I remember the One Pittsboro brand being my first exposure to it was in the Parks Master Plan. And I thank you, Mayor Shipp. Gotta memorize that one. Thank you, Mayor Shipp, for that comment, because I think that's right. I think very soon we will want to move past that concept and into something that, I mean, I've been toying with the phrase greater Pittsboro, because I think we're certainly great and we're becoming greater. And that seems to be the really prominent thing in my mind as I look to the future, is a much, much greater Pittsboro. Not that that is our brand, but I agree with the point that maybe we shouldn't codify One Pittsboro as a brand at this point.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And I think the intention from staff and what we heard was more focused on making folks feel like they were a part of Pittsboro in the general sense.
Yeah. So maybe a cohesive, unified Pittsboro brand.
Yeah, that's the aim.
Yeah.
That way folks don't say, I live in Chatham Park, or I live in Disney, or I live in wherever. It's, I live in Pittsboro.
Makes absolute sense. Mm-hmm.
Other comment? Okay.
And
go to the next one.
Wait,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Yep. We can go to the next goal. Thank you. This is robust facilities and equipment. And so this goal is focused on planning and investing in strategic and responsible management of operational needs. And there are 4 strategies included on this goal. Okay, any, can we move to the next one then? Livable community. This goal is focused on designing our community to accept and accommodate an inclusive and diverse population where everyone thrives and includes strategies. I know, I think Mayor, you had one comment on this already that I'm aware of.
Yeah. So I think just on the one about where it says identify opportunities to reduce greenhouse gas emissions through a climate action plan. I think there's a lot of, as we get into a climate action plan, there's a lot of other things that it would encompass as well, likely. Resiliency measures, public education, policy integration, some of those other things. So I don't know if we want to specifically list all of those or any of those, but just the idea that all of those things would be important and likely they would be done through a climate action plan. But I'm not exactly sure how to put that in a bullet. But I don't want to limit ourselves on.
Okay, yeah, and we can think through the wording on that so that it's not as limiting. Do you have any comments? You were nodding. Okay.
No, I like that.
Okay. Any other? Great. We can scroll down. This is the last goal, financial sustainability. This goal is to focus on supporting organizational resilience through sustainable financial management and fiduciary responsibility. There are 4 goals associated, or 4 strategies associated with this goal. That is, I think my next slide is just questions and a picture of llamas from Chatham County that I use all the time. That's all I have. I'm happy to take any other questions about the plan. I believe next steps are we'll make the changes and have them reflected in the plan before it comes for you for adoption. If there's any other questions or comments, I'm happy.
All right. So I think the idea would be to make those updates and then bring it back on the consent agenda on our next meeting to wrap that up. But appreciate all the time that Central Pines and your team has put into this and working with our staff, and
yeah,
really important step for Pittsburgh. So thank you.
I've been happy to help out.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
It's a very deliberate, thorough process, and it was a pleasure. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is old business number 2, ABC board appointments. We have 8 applications for 2 3-year terms, and these are the additional positions that we added at our last meeting. And I did have a question, but the statute says that added members are added for 3-year terms. So we don't stagger those when we add the positions. So these would be 3-year terms. I believe of the 8 applications we have that are in town, TJ. So I'll accept motion for the first position for the ABC board representative.
I'd like to move Emily Cabrera for the first position.
I'll second that.
Any discussion on that?
Yeah, I think that she's exceptionally well qualified out of this batch that we're seeing here. As an in-town business owner of more than 13 years, I was pleased to see that they have 30+ years of food and bar service experience. I think it's also intriguing that Emily Cabrera prefers to be referred to as Emmett Davenport, is already fairly well known in the community through their ownership of the Cafe Diem coffee shop, and as a business establishment that doesn't deal in alcohol yet has very frequent contact with the public. I think that's a unique set of qualifications that they bring.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you. Now accept a nomination for the second 3rd-year term for the ABC board.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to nominate Larry Piazza, Lawrence Piazza.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Yeah, I'll offer that I was pleased to meet Mr. Piazza through the Citizens Academy. So he's bringing that experience and knowledge. Thank you, Colby Sawyer. He is a retired pharmacist, so that's certainly a robust set of professional training and suggests level of achievement that is remarkable. And he's a long-term in-town resident, so I think he also is going to be bringing some valuable perspectives.
In addition to that, he noted in his resume that he worked in alcohol beverage stores while putting himself through college. I think that's commendable.
There we go. Good catch. Thank you.
Agreed. Glad, commendable, and glad to see the Pittsburgh 101 program continuing to bear fruit for these advisory boards. Yep. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Passes unanimous. Thank you. Next item is new business number 1, the vacation accrual policy. John.
Thank you, Mayor. As you can see there, under the background, you have your current accrual rates that the town of Pittsburgh currently uses. You have what is being requested. We looked at Carborough, Sanford, and Holly Springs, and we ranked last. We thought it would be best to look at the city of Sanford. I hear you. I've been avoiding that for months. So this recommended accrual rate would put us even with Sanford, which I think makes sense considering that we're transferring our water and sewer systems to Sanford. Also, in terms of the region, they are our number 1 competitor when it comes to benefits and pay. So that's why we picked Sanford to compare ourselves with. That's it.
Thank you. Appreciate you bringing these to us to continuously improve our benefits. Any discussion?
Just some feedback. I am a proponent of building the town's foundation with good employees. And I commend you for your efforts.
Thank you, Mr. Frank.
All right. I'll accept a motion to approve the amended version of Article 7, Section 7 of the personnel policy as shown on attachment A.
So moved. And seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next up, new business number 2, years of service credit for employees.
So along the same lines as the last item, currently right now, you've got employees whose past service is not being credited or counted towards how they currently accrue vacation time. So total number of years not being used, 140 years service we have on the books with employees, tenured employees, who are not getting the credit, in my opinion, that they deserve for their vacation. So, and it depended on when you were being hired and what you asked for when you're being hired. So I think this is a good equity move moving forward, that everybody that transfers to Pittsburgh from another state or local organization would get credit for that service. That's what we're asking for today.
Any questions or comments on it?
I think it's another good way to provide an attractive benefit and support of it.
I'll accept the motion to approve the town manager's request to credit employees for their years of service earned outside the town of Pittsburgh.
So.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
I have to say that 140 years is substantial. It's almost as much as Mr. Misc.
Any other discussion?
That's it. That's it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right, new business number 3, Parks and Recreation operational space request. Katie here.
I'm handling these. Yeah. Wanted to give my night off.
All right.
Don't worry, I'll take advantage of it later. But in looking at Parks and Rec's space that they need, currently they've only got a shed behind the community house. The community house is currently being renovated to be a much nicer and updated space for the community. So I think the last thing that we want to do is have Parks and Rec operating out of a building behind another building anyway, and certainly not a building that we just spent a lot of money on renovating. So we've been looking for space for a couple of months, and unfortunately, each time we find a space, or the one time we did find a space, it quickly got grabbed from us before we could do all the due diligence. So what we're asking here is that you allow the town attorney and I to move forward and execute a contract for that particular address, limited up to $2,000 per month. And that's at 521 Hillsborough Street.
Yeah, looks like a great site. Good find.
It certainly will work for us in our short term.
Any other questions for the manager?
It's right beside Smart Cars.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's where the plumbing.
Full stop.
Yeah,
Full stack
full
used to be there, yeah.
Perfect.
It's good. Yeah. And we'll be able to do some of the work necessary to get it up to our standards, which is a cost saving measure for us and the landlord. So I think it's a good move all around.
How many square feet is that? Ballpark.
1,000.
Yeah.
But the office space will probably likely be more used for them eating lunch or them, getting out of the weather, or storage for some of the holiday decorations or downtown stuff. So we think we can utilize it.
Locations.
And so one last term in the contract that we're looking at, be a 2-year term with an additional 2-year term attached to that.
All right, I'll accept the motion to authorize the town manager and town attorney to negotiate and execute a lease agreement with Crofton Harris LLC for the use of the property located at 521 Hillsborough Street for an amount not to exceed $2,000 per month.
So moved.
Thank you. Second? Second. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
And for the next item, I will not be doing that one.
All right. New business number 4, wastewater allocation policy. Kent?
Yeah, good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. So still the policies for this evening. But isn't it great to have capacity to discuss allocation policy?
Yes.
And not so much, thoughts can kind of initially go to all the new and exciting things that are planned in Pittsboro, which are important. But also thinking about the truly great smaller things that are waiting in the wings in need of wastewater capacity, even small amounts that we have been unable to allocate because of our critically low capacity and expansion ability. But we are quickly approaching a time when we will move past that. And so it's timely to update our policy for the remaining existing capacity we have in our small street plant, as well as the additional capacity that will be developed over time through our merger with the city of Sanford. So those are some of the things that, we have considered in drafting this policy for your discussion and consideration. We've seen an increased number of inquiries since August when the merger with Sanford was announced. That has kind of steadily increased over that time. You've seen in your own agenda for public hearings, development approvals, a reflection of our trend and our progress towards that future time when we will have allocation to award. We want to also provide for an orderly development review process. I mean, we have had that, and we want to update the wastewater utility allocation part of that so that we are prepared to move forward in an orderly way. So some of the things that we have kind of kept in mind when drafting this as far as priorities are concerned are those existing lots or structures in town that may have a small need for wastewater allocation, but an important need. And so we want to, in this process, keep the process simple for those applicants, so to speak. We wanted to keep in mind prior commitments that have been made. Mostly prior commitments are reflected through the merger agreement with the city of Sanford and separate agreements that the city of Sanford has or will make with developers in that category. We also kept in mind your goals and priorities that we have heard you reiterate many times through development deliberations and other workshops. We certainly wanted to keep in mind fairness and equity in this process. And as I mentioned, support orderly land use approvals was also a priority. So talking about the policy, and we did provide you with two documents. We provided you with a policy, and then we also provided you with a procedure. The procedure is more of a staff informational and instructional document, but it is connected to the policy, and we thought it was important that you be able to preview that and provide any comments on that part as well. So the policy, we tried to keep it streamlined and simple to just address the most important parts of this. So first, talking about the scope of the policy, one of the most important parts about the scope was keeping in mind that our capacity is going to be available and developed in phases. So I mentioned we have a limited capacity in our wastewater plant on Small Street. We haven't been able to utilize that because of our lack of having a plan for what's next. Well, through the merger and with the projects that were part of the merger agreement, we have that pathway forward for what is next as far as wastewater capacity. So that will soon allow us to be able to utilize the remaining capacity in our Small Street wastewater plant. So that is the first phase of this scope is dealing with existing capacity between this policy adoption and the anticipated or planned date of transition of the merger, which right now is July 1st of 2020. And then what I've called a phase 1A, there still will likely be some remaining capacity at the transition date. So the phase 1A will be from that date until the first expansion of capacity, which would be the 2 million gallon per day force main, which is anticipated in the fourth quarter of 2025. Phase 2, if you'll recall in the merger discussions, we talked about the ability to increase our capacity in our transmission system through improvements at our wastewater plant in the future to obtain an additional potential of 3 MGD in kind of the midterm future. So that would be phase 2. And then phase 3 is kind of the least determined point in time, which is when there would be a second expansion of our system through the merger, which would most likely also involve additional capacity at the city of Sanford's facilities. So that date is to be determined. But that's kind of the scope and the phasing that's anticipated. I talked about existing properties and structures. As far as this policy is concerned, in general, those parcels that have an existing connection at the time this policy is adopted are considered to have an existing wastewater capacity allocation based on that current land use or building use. That's how we're initially accounting for existing properties, existing structures.
Can I ask for clarification on that, Mr. Jackson? So if, I'll just ask for an example, perhaps you can describe it. Let's say a home, an individual has a home in Pittsburgh that has a 3-bedroom home and they want an accessible dwelling unit on that property. How does that work out?
So in the procedure, again, trying to keep it straightforward and simple, there is a provision and procedure for the town manager or designee to review and approve those type of, yes, without the need to come back to the full board.
If you look at Appendix A, Section 2, letter E. I think that covers all that.
Thank you.
Okay, so then the other kind of important part of this, knowing that we have projects that are in different stages of development or approval, we thought it was important in this policy to lend some definition to those projects and, consider how we will administer allocation for those projects. Previously approved projects, of course, there's substantial financial commitments that are based on good faith development plans and approvals. So for the purpose of this policy, these projects would be ones that have completed the development review process, that have a construction drawing approval, and they are just awaiting construction authorization with a wastewater allocation. That will be a very short list of projects that are in that category. A second larger group of projects is what we are referring to as waiting list projects. Waiting list projects have a existing approval. It may be a zoning approval, a conditional zoning, special use permit, or a master development plan. And these projects will be given priority consideration in the procedure. However, these projects do not currently have approved construction drawings. So that's why they are regarded as waiting list projects and not previously approved projects. Another thing that we wanted to address, I mentioned considering your goals and priorities. So we have also included consideration in this policy what we have called strategic reserve projects. Another goal of this policy was to stay within our legal mandate. For that reason, we have not quantified this strategic reserve. However, we have called it out as pertaining to your goals and priorities. And specifically, those goals that we've cited are affordable housing, economic development, and density. So projects that are in these categories will be given priority consideration for wastewater capacity based on the extent to which they meet the goals. And as we heard earlier tonight, we are about to adopt a strategic plan. So within that strategic plan, a number of these things are mentioned. And then the last category will be new projects. And those are projects that are just that are new. They don't fit in one of the other categories. and they will be considered for capacity according to the procedures in Appendix A and based on a first come, first served basis. Another, part of this course is City of Sanford. We have had a couple of meetings with City of Sanford staff. It's important to understand that their process is, understandably different than ours, mostly because they have not been, are not operating under a limited wastewater capacity. And so their land use approvals and their allocation approvals are not as closely coordinated as what is important for us. So we've had those conversations with the City of Sanford. They are on board at this point with what we want to do. They have agreed to participate in a technical review committee that we will establish starting in January of next year. And so that's important to keep in mind as well. Some of this was new to them as far as this close coordination between land use and utilities. So, the policy that we propose to be effective January 1st, and this would replace our prior guidelines. I think our last update was in June of 2022. And as far as revisions to the policy, those would be coordinated and approved by the town manager as per this policy. So that's a overview, and certainly happy to answer any questions you might have.
Again, any questions or comments for Ken?
I have just one. What is our remaining capacity available?
So I recently looked at our BMRs, was those are the reports that Jamie sends to the state each month. So for the past 12 months, our average is about 580,000 gallons per day. So it's that doesn't automatically translate to we have everything from that up to the plant capacity, but it does give an indication of we have some room.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And if I could add one last thing, this is not complete, which is why we added last section, visions of the policy of the authorized by the manager. I felt like we were getting analysis paralysis trying to make this policy perfect. And we just needed to get something out there. We had developers asking us all the time, hey, what's the deal with allocation? What's the deal with allocation? So we want to put something together, put their minds at ease, but also give us something that's flexible that we could work on once we answer some more finite legal questions. So appreciate your consideration.
Yeah, great point. And as this is in use, we will learn things, realize things that need to be addressed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Kent, thank you very much for the presentation. As I shared with both you and Mr. Franklin earlier today, I really like this policy a lot, and I want to, for the benefit of the public, call out exactly why I'm so pleased with it. At least in my understanding, I'm not a developer, obviously, but in my understanding, it's going to give a lot of clarity. And it lays forth a clear process by which aspiring holders of sewer allocation can actually get in line if they aren't already. And along with that clarity is the fairness and equity that you strove for. I'm also really pleased with the treatment of existing structures or property and the general approach to that strategic reserve, prioritizing those projects that meet our goals for affordable housing, economic development, and density. And I'll reflect back I think when we first started worrying about some of these things, it was around about 2019 or 2020. And earlier that year, I had first learned of this organization called the Incremental Development Alliance, which presented a very admirable mission of training regular property owners, just regular old folks in their communities in how to develop their own land. If there's an adjacent lot, or if they have a lot or a house that burned down, or that they want to renovate a house or whatever. It's the idea that vibrant communities that want to strive for density and walkability can do that by developing themselves, by our neighbors, adding that accessory dwelling unit to the backyard, or building on an addition, or a mother-in-law suite, or a suite over the garage. And for infill lots, maybe even duplexes and triplexes or larger. And this is how I think we will increase the density of Pittsburgh in the older parts of town, while also staying true to the charm and the character of the community. So I'm very pleased with it. As I shared with you over the phone, my only reluctance here and not wanting to vote for this tonight is that I feel that those very people that I'd like to know about this aren't aware of it yet. And so I would just like to pause briefly and perhaps set a public hearing for the next meeting, during which time we can get the word out of the community and also have their attention to this so that they know that there's also an opportunity here for little guys, little folks. So I'll ask if there's other thoughts or discussion.
I think the policy allows that room for little guys, so it might just be an education component.
Exactly.
That the policy exists.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
Sure.
You pretty much took care of it, but I would just mention that, I see nothing wrong with the policy as written, and, I don't know if it's necessary to have a public hearing for this matter.
I think it isn't legally, but I think that this is again kind of a statement that this board can make that those who can't afford to pay someone to come and listen to these meetings can also are also deserving of understanding what this policy is about. And so by being intentional about it and pausing a little bit, we can do that. We as commissioners and the mayor can do that educational work, just giving a little bit of deference to the public. Because after all, this past Thursday was the first anybody had the opportunity to see it outside of this board.
This is a document that has clearly been cogent and worked out thoroughly. What would be the negatives of holding back, delaying? Maybe Mr. Franklin, talk about that. Why would we delay it? Why wouldn't we want to go on tonight?
I think it's really whatever the board's preference is. We were trying to get something together because we were being asked, and I think for several months, we were just trying to figure out the details, which Kent did a good job on.
Yeah.
So that's it.
So this is an informational kind of gesture, and I understand that. Why not have perhaps you can explain why you want to delay it?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Once again, I think that this policy is probably already, the draft is already familiar to the professional development community. And they're aware. My concern and hope is that we can make sure that others in the community, our neighbors, or smaller property owners are similarly aware. And so it's kind of a ceremonial pause, if you will. I don't believe that there would be any changes to the policy that I can see because it's very thorough and very detailed and clear. But again, out of deference to our neighbors and friends who may have property, but don't have the time or economic wherewithal to hire people to read policies for them or to attend these meetings.
Can that be answered at a later date? I mean, tomorrow, let's say, we could share the information with.
Sure.
It cannot show up tonight.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be okay?
Yeah, I mean, whatever the ideas are, I would like for this board to do something that's intentional, that says the public is important to us in this respect. And that this policy is really important. I think we've all felt a sense of urgency about it. And notwithstanding that sense of urgency, in conversations with staff, it seems clear that because we're pretty confident about this current language, they can begin to share this and socialize it with the community. And we're merely taking the time to formalize public input, if there is any to be gained, at our next board meeting.
I think, I mean, this say something in support of both, both considerations. I think staff's next steps are going to be the same. Whether if the policy is adopted this evening or it's adopted at a future date, I mean, we're gonna, take your lead in our own best practice to promote this information to those individuals in the development community at large, working through Colby's office and, other, venues that we have. So if that helps to make that more comfortable, then that's something maybe.
And in a larger organization, this would be an internal policy that admin would put in place, similar to the city of Sanford. But this board has been so in touch with the sewer allocation issue. And so Kent and I thought it best to bring it to you for you to give us the proper nod. So however you all want to do that, we're here to support.
Okay. I actually had a question, Mr. Jackson, in regarding something else entirely. Just got a question for you about the new application. If you could just explain a little bit about that, number G. I need some clarification on that. And I do apologize. I didn't ask you before you sat down.
Oh, sure. Is that in the appendix? Or no?
G. G. Out of cycle, appendix A. Out of cycle projects. You said that. 3G.
Yep. And Appendix A is an internal policy. That is what staff will use to put this policy in place. So that will likely change and flex as time goes on.
Well, my question has to do with the 6 month, the time frame. It says that basically if the sewer allocation request will no longer be held in the queue, pending request, a new request will be required if there's no submittal of a plan in more than 6 months. So they're finally
I think I'm understanding now. So this was directed at a project that may have an initial submittal and then, for whatever reason, whether it may be financial or otherwise, the project could become abandoned. But we have assigned a preliminary wastewater allocation to that project. And so that is a condition to kind of combat a project that, makes an initial application, has an allocation, an estimated wastewater flow, and then never resubmits. And we're kind of, then we would be kind of reserving allocation for that project when another project may need it. So
So if it's beyond 6 months, they haven't resubmitted.
They would just have to resubmit. Right. They would not lose the, they would have the same ability to request the allocation they had initially. They would just have to repeat the process.
Would they continue to do that 6 months after 6 months after 6 months? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know if we've considered that in that detail. So that may be something that in practice we would need to think about and discuss. And we've really just thought about one kind of cycle.
Thank you. In reference to the public being able to have information regarding this, that will be fine. Mr. Sawyer, if you could just put this out there so that the public can see that, the next meeting is going to approve it. I don't have a problem approving it now. But
I got a motion. Motion is just.
I don't have a motion.
I like the policy. I like public involvement. We all agree with the policy. And I think we do, then the lift is in educating the public, not so much holding that.
Yeah. Well, one tool in educating the public is to set a public hearing. And that's what I'm getting at. So I'll go ahead and make the motion that we set a public hearing for the January meeting for this to be finalized and voted upon.
Do I hear a second?
I don't want to put it here. I just want.
Oh, I thought that's what you were saying.
No, I was saying that I would want Mrs. Sawyer to put information out there on the website so that the public will have this information and bring it back for the next meeting, not a public hearing, but for us to go on and improve.
Okay.
That's
the same thing.
Is there any other motion?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the wastewater allocation policy.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
I second.
All right. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That's unanimous.
Thanks for the support. Appreciate it.
Okay, new business number 5 is in regard to the planning board appointments. And Director Cahoon Tingle is not able to be with us unexpectedly this evening, so I'd ask that we table this to the next meeting.
So moved.
Thank you. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
We're going to move into a closed session now, so I'll take it.
Mayor. I may have missed it. When we were discussing the board update, had a motion for the 2 appointees. We had another
That was removed.
increase.
That was removed in a later revision. We're going to take that up later.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I overlooked that.
Yeah, it was a late revision, so
Okay. Thank you.
thank you. Yeah. Okay, we're going to enter a closed session now, so I'll accept a motion to enter a closed session pursuant to 143-318-11A3 to consult with the town attorney, and 143-311.
Good collaboration.
11A6.
Collaborating with.
So moved.
That's it. Nice
All
work.
in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Relationship.
We are back in open session and I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second. All those in favor, say aye.
All right.
Thank you. Have a good